Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking past the usual view of Pilates, the mass and reformers, to explore the professional world behind high-level Stott Pilates instruction.
That's right. We're really diving into a career path that's quite demanding. It sits at this interesting intersection. It's more than just wellness. It's applied science, it's serious teaching methodology, pedagogy, and, well, the art of conscious movement itself.
And our mission here is pretty straightforward. Give you the shortcut to understanding this field. We've gone through this really detailed interview with a founder and accredited trainer, and it gives such an insider's view.
It really does. And what jumps out right away is this duality they talk about, this core philosophy.
Duality. How so?
The whole profession is framed as this blend. On one hand, you have the hard science anatomy, biomechanics, all that structural stuff.
Okay, the technical knowledge.
Exactly. But then on the other hand, there's what they call quite beautifully the poetry of movement.
I like that. The poetry of movement. So cold facts meet intuition, artistry.
Something like that, yeah. It's this mix. So we're not just digging into what they teach, but also how they train the trainers and the level of commitment involved. It's significant. It's like earning a professional passport.
A professional passport.
Okay.
So let's start with the day-to-day. What does that actually look like?
Well, there's the visible part, right? What you'd expect.
Leading classes, demonstrating, correcting form.
Yeah, all that. But the sources we looked at are really clear. Most of the work, it happens behind the scenes. It's unseen.
The hidden workload. Okay,
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What does that involve?
It's extensive. We're talking constant prep for sessions, naturally, but also creating detailed teaching materials.
Pedagogical materials.
Yes, and keeping up with the science. A constant scientific, watch movement science, physio research, you have to stay current. And then there's the admin side, a lot of it.
Admin. Like what you mentioned quality earlier. That sounds very formal. How does a quality framework fit into teaching movement?
Quality. Okay, so in places like Europe, it's this official quality certification for training providers. It's crucial for credibility, sometimes for funding.
So it's about standards, ensuring rigor.
Precisely. It guarantees a certain level of quality and professionalism, especially when you're offering something linked to international standards like Marathus. It validates the whole process.
That makes sense. It's like an external seal of approval.
Yeah.
But how does that, the paperwork, the compliance, how does that mesh with the poetry of movement side? Do they clash?
Ideally, no. They should support each other. The structure, the admin, the quality rules that provides the reliable frame. The Science Watch gives you the why behind the movements.
Okay.
And all that frees up the instructor to really focus on the how, that connection, the intuition, working with the actual person in front of them.
So the structure enables the art.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
The source actually breaks down the instructor's role, especially if they're also a director, into four main areas, four axes, they call them.
Okay, let's unpack those. What's axis one?
Axis 1 is teaching. Straightforward enough. Training future instructors in the Stott Pilates method, guiding them all the way to certification. That's the core.
Got it. Axis two.
Pedagogical conception. This is about designing the training programs. They need to be clear, build logically, step by step, and often because it's international, they have to be bilingual.
Bilingual too. Wow. Okay.
And crucially, everything has to align perfectly with the official Marathus standards. You're a guardian of the method.
So interpreter and guardian. Heavy responsibilities. What about the more personal side? The student development.
That's axis 3. Individualized follow-up. This is maybe the most nuanced part. You're guiding each trainee individually. You have to understand their background, their specific challenges, maybe physical or even mental blocks, and help them find their own personal connection to the movement, their own understanding.
Right, tailoring it to the person.
Yeah.
And the last axis.
Axis 4 is direction and communication. This covers the big picture stuff. Planning, coordinating the team if there is one, overseeing that quality compliance we talked about, and handling the international side relations with Marathus head office in Toronto, diffusion of the method.
It's really clear how much goes into maintaining that standard. It's not just about being good at Pilates yourself. There's a huge organizational piece.
Absolutely.
So if that's the hidden structure, what about the front-facing toolkit, the skills you actually need in the studio with the client?
Well, first up, that solid scientific foundation is non-negotiable. Anatomy, biomechanics, physiology, how people learn movement, the pedagogy. You simply have to know how the body works mechanically.
The underlying machinery.
Exactly. You can't guide it effectively if you don't understand it deeply.
The source material really hammered home the importance of observation, didn't it? That ability to read the body, almost before words are exchanged, to see imbalances, anticipate issues.
Yes, that's a critical skill. It's like a nonverbal assessment. And performing that assessment, guiding the correction, requires the next essential quality: incredible precision.
Precision.
Extreme precision. One trainer put it very starkly. A millimeter of deviation changes everything in alignment. You have to be meticulous, constantly aware of the body's geometry in space.
A millimeter that demands intense focus. Session after session, that must be quite draining. What else is needed? What personal qualities help sustain that?
They highlight 3 key traits for really thriving in this role. First is patience. Real change, learning new movement patterns, it takes time. You can't rush transformation.
Makes sense. People have ingrained habits.
Exactly. Second is presence. Being fully there, completely focused on the student. They say students can absolutely feel it when you're truly present versus just going through the motion.
That connection.
Yes. And finally, clarity and benevolence. Being clear in your instruction, obviously, but also being supportive, reassuring. A good teacher corrects, yes, but they also build confidence.
Right. It's not about breaking someone down.
Not at all. It's constructive.
So after all that intense work, the rigor, the focus,
Yeah.
what's the reward? What makes it worthwhile for these professionals?
It really seems to come down to witnessing the transformations in their students.
Transformations, physical.
Physical, definitely seeing someone find their proper axis, correcting an imbalance they've had for years, but also mental or maybe experiential shifts, that moment of understanding, the click.
Ah, the aha moment.
Exactly. Especially, they mention, around breath control. When someone finally gets it, it's described as a shared victory. That's where the science and the poetry really connect. That's the deep satisfaction.
Okay, so if you're listening and this sounds appealing, maybe you're thinking about this path. Well, let's be clear. This isn't like a weekend fitness cert.
Not even close.
The source is called the Stott Pilates certification, a serious commitment, a professional passport recognized globally. So what does that journey actually involve? Can you break down the modules?
Sure. It's very structured, very sequential. You build layer upon layer. It starts with IMP intensive mat work. That's the bedrock. Teaches the 5 fundamental principles. You absolutely start there.
Foundation first. Then
you move on to IR intensive reformer. This brings in the machines, introduces resistance, works on motor control. It's a big step up in complexity.
okay, reformer. Then comes the really intricate equipment.
Right. That's where you really deepen the 3-dimensional understanding. You have ICAD, the Cadillac module, lots of suspension, stability challenges there. Then ICHR, which is the chair, and IBR, the barrels. Each piece demands different kinds of control.
Cadillac, chair, barrels. Got it.
After mastering those, you progress to the advanced levels. That's about refining coordination, making movements more fluid, handling more complex sequences.
And isn't there a specialized module, too, for injuries?
Yes, a crucial one. ISP injuries and special populations. This teaches you how to adapt the entire method safely and effectively for people with limitations, injuries, or specific needs, pre-postnatal, seniors, etc. It's vital for working therapeutically.
Wow, that is comprehensive. So adding all that up, what are we talking about in terms of time commitment and the financial side?
Time-wise, it's substantial. You're looking at roughly 300 hours of the formal training courses themselves. But on top of that, there are hundreds of required hours for personal practice, observation, and supervised teaching practice.
So hundreds of hours beyond the class time.
Easily. And the cost for the full path, from basic mat work right through all the equipment modules, including manuals and exams, it's around 17,000 euros, TTC.
17,000 euros?
Yeah.
Let's just clarify, TTC, that's touts, taxes, comprises, so all taxes included. Wow. Okay. That's basically college tuition territory.
It is. It definitely ensures a certain level of seriousness from applicants. It's a major investment.
And that naturally filters people. What about those making a career change, say leaving a corporate job for this? What are the specific hurdles they face?
The sources mention 3 main challenges for career changers. First, simple doubt. It's a big leap. You're learning a new skill, a new way of moving, and a new way of teaching. It can be intimidating.
I can imagine. Relearning how to learn almost.
Exactly. Second is time. The sheer amount of regular practice and study needed, fitting that around existing responsibilities, maybe family or another job during the transition, it's tough.
The logistics.
Right. And third, finding their personal pedagogical identity, figuring out their teaching style, how they connect with students, and balancing that with the demands of a service career, finding a sustainable work-life rhythm. It takes time to settle into that new professional skin.
Okay, so it's a huge commitment, Time, money, personal adjustment. Which leads us to the market. What's the situation out there? Is there demand for this level of expertise?
According to the sources, absolutely yes. The market is described as being in full expansion.
Really? Expansion?
Yes, and there's a shift happening. It's moving beyond just general fitness or looking good. People are actively seeking out functional and durable health.
Functional and durable health.
Meaning they want to prevent injuries, they want to genuinely improve their breathing mechanics, they want to age well, stay mobile and strong. There's a growing demand for that sophisticated preventative approach.
So people are looking for deeper, more long-term benefits.
Precisely, and that drives demand for highly qualified instructors.
Okay, so the demand is there.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to set up their own studio after getting certified, those machines look seriously expensive. What's the ballpark investment?
Yeah, the equipment is the major capital outlay. To set up a properly equipped professional studio, you need multiple reformers, you need Cadillacs, stability chairs, barrels.
The whole suite.
The whole suite. Just one typical reformer, like an SPX Max Plus, might run you about 7,500 HT, that's Moore's taxes, before tax.
7,500 euros
Yes.
before tax for one reformer.
Yep, so when you factor in needing, say, 10 reformers, plus the other big pieces, the total initial investment to fully equip a studio, the estimate is easily somewhere between 95,000 and 110,000 euro.
95 to 110,000 euros. Okay, that puts it in perspective. This is a serious business venture.
No question, it's capital intensive.
So for those who don't want to take on that massive setup cost, what are the other options? What's the typical employment status and what kind of pay can they expect?
Well, many instructors work independently as freelancers or liberal professionals, as they might say in some places, getting paid per session or per client.
Right, the independent route.
Others find salaried positions in established studios, maybe high-end fitness clubs, or even in physiotherapy or rehabilitation centers.
And the pay, how does that vary?
It generally reflects your level of certification and experience. A beginner instructor just starting out might earn somewhere in the range of 30 to 45 euros per hour.
Okay.
Once you're a fully certified Stott instructor, especially doing private sessions, the average seems to be around 60 euros per hour.
60 euros an hour.
Yeah.
Better.
And then the top tier, the accredited trainers who train other instructors or studio managers, they can command significantly more, perhaps 80 to 120 per hour, depending on the context, location, format.
80 to 120. Okay, so there's a clear progression based on expertise and responsibility.
Definitely.
And the certification, it sounds like it's really just the beginning. What are the typical career paths after getting fully certified? Where do people go from there?
Several directions open up. One prestigious path is to become an accredited Marathon trainer yourself, mentoring the next wave of instructors.
Meaning the trainers.
Exactly. Others choose to specialize deeply. Maybe in therapeutic Pilates, working closely with physios, or focusing on specific populations like postnatal, neurological conditions, seniors.
Finding a niche?
Right. Building expertise in a specific area. And then, of course, many leverage their knowledge to build a broader platform, developing their own studio brand, creating online courses, workshops, maybe even podcasts, reaching a wider audience digitally.
Building a digital identity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So lots of potential evolution beyond the initial certification.
For sure.
As we start to wrap up, let's circle back to that core idea, that philosophy you mentioned at the start, the blend of science and poetry.
Yes, that synthesis. Connecting the detailed knowledge, the muscles, the levers, the biomechanics with the felt sense, the presence, the energy, the poetry of the actual movement.
The source used that phrase, relier le savoir au vivant.
Exactly. Connecting knowledge to the living. That seems to capture the essence. Merging the analytical with the intuitive. Creating coherence, not just in the client's body, but within the instructor too. Inner posture matters as much as physical posture.
So if you had to boil it all down, based on everything we've discussed, what truly defines a great Stott Pilates instructor at this high level?
I think a great instructor is someone who observes more than they talk. Someone who corrects precisely but safely without causing injury or fear. They guide, but they don't impose their will.
Attentive guidance. Yes. Attentive, coherent, grounded. They embody the principles themselves. Their presence, their own posture, internal and external, teaches just as much as their words.
That's a powerful image. Which leaves us, and you the listener, with a final thought. How is this kind of rigorous, integrated training shaping the future of movement itself?
Well, the perspective seems to be that the future of Pilates is increasingly integrated. It's becoming less siloed, more of a universal language connecting with other fields, neurology, physiotherapy, mindfulness, full consciousness practices.
Interesting.
It seems positioned as a discipline for the future because it addresses a really fundamental human need, learning how to inhabit our bodies better, more intelligently, more consciously at any stage of life.
So the challenge for us all then.
Perhaps it's to think about movement not just as exercise, not just reps and sets, but as this living language, a language that, when we learn to speak it fluently, allows us to integrate precision, awareness, and ultimately a greater sense of freedom within ourselves.